Hi, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the New Day with Natalie podcast. We are going to be talking about why some avoidantly attached people return to some, but not to all. So this episode is for you if your avoidant ex has not returned yet and you're like, am I one of the ones that they won't choose to come back to? Because sometimes avoidantly attached people, they will return. It's very, very common, but sometimes they will disappear forever. Okay, so we're going to talk about why that happens in this episode. It just boils down to what an avoidantly attached person craves during a breakup. And if they get exactly what they crave during a breakup, then they will return to you. But if they don't, then they will not return to you. Let's talk about what they're craving, all right? Avoidantly attached people will come back to you if, number one, you give them space, okay? You probably could have guessed this. You did not need to click on this podcast or YouTube video to know that, all right? But avoidantly attached people love control. That is what makes them feel safe, to be in control of their life, their schedule, their time, the people in their life. When they broke up with you, they're taking back control, right? When they break up with you, now they have time to do what they want. Now they can clean their apartment how they want. When they place space in between you, that's something else that they are controlling. They are controlling the amount of time that they are with you, that they see you, right? Because you're broken up. So that's something that they get to control. And when they have control, they feel safe. And when they feel safe, they don't feel so claustrophobic and overwhelmed. And when they're safe, they're happy. And then that's when they would want to come back to you. So towards the end of your relationship, your avoidant ex was probably feeling really overwhelmed for a variety of reasons, okay? But they probably just felt like their energy was completely drained, okay? Because maybe they felt like a parent to you. Maybe they felt like they had too many responsibilities taking care of you. Maybe they felt guilty because they couldn't give you the world and they literally couldn't show up as the person that you wanted them to be, or like the person you want to fall in love with and spend your life with. They literally could not fit that mold. So they're just like, I need to end this. I can't be with you. Maybe they just felt like they were losing their identity. That's what I hear a lot from the clients that I work with one-on-one. All the avoidants that I work with will tell me they have felt like they lost themselves in the relationship. So to gain back control, to gain back who they are, their identity, to feel like themselves again, they need space. They need to break up and they need space to go off, live their life, find their joy, find their passion, find themselves again. And when they find all those things, that is when they would return to you. Breaking up with you essentially helps the avoidantly attached person to regain control over their life and over their identity. And it helps them to return to a lifestyle that they feel free, that they feel like they are in complete control of. After the breakup, you might notice that your avoidant partner is really enjoying life. Like they're going to hang out with friends. They're just filling up their day with like a lot of activities and they're posting on their Snapchat story. And it's just like they have no emotional demands. They're just feeling great, like living their best life. And it can make you feel really sad because it's like, well, were you not happy with me? Like, what did I do to make you feel this way? But in reality, it's just because the avoidantly attached person felt so closed in, felt so unfree, felt so stuck. And so now they're free. They can do whatever they want. They're not claustrophobic anymore. After they go through the phase of feeling free and getting whatever they want in life, they go through this phase. This is the final stage where they start to feel like, okay, I got everything that I wanted, but now I'm feeling suffocated by the freedom. I'm feeling like I need deep connection. I need to talk to people. I need to talk to people that get me. I'm just feeling lonely. Like I got everything I wanted, but now I'm sad, okay? I like to think about it like this, all right? Think about ice cream. Ice cream tastes delicious and you want it all the time, right? When you pass an ice cream store, you're like, oh, I want that. It's so good, right? But when you start to eat a ton of ice cream, it's really sweet and delicious in the beginning and there's like no guilt. You're like, this is amazing. I feel great. I'm so happy. But then over time, when you start eating like the whole gallon, you start to feel guilty. You start to feel shitty. You're like, great, I'm fat. Why did I just eat that whole ice cream? Like it was good, but it wasn't even worth it. And then you're just like, I'm done. I don't want any more ice cream. I'm done. All right. So the ice cream in that story I just told you is basically what it's like to have freedom as an avoidant, right? The freedom tastes so good. It's so amazing. It's so sweet, so satisfying. But over time, it's like, it's too much. It hurts. It's like, I love it, but I don't want all of it right now, you know? And when you don't have it for a while and you like look at an ice cream store, you're like, ooh, I wonder what flavors they have, right? And so that was what they were thinking. They had this idea of, oh, what does freedom taste like? And then they just said, you know what? I'm done breaking up with you. They got that flavor, got that taste, and now they're like, wait a second. I want you back, right? So this space is very critical. They need to go through all of those phases in order to have that realization of, wait a second, I want you back. Like, I'm done eating all this ice cream. I just want you. I just want to feel good, okay? And like, I should say this, the caveat is like, if you actually respected their request to have space, then they will actually feel like they miss you, right? If you didn't pressure them, if you didn't chase them, if you didn't text them all the time, then they are lacking you in their life, and therefore they will miss you. And they will feel safe enough to return to you because you're not putting pressure on your avoidant ex to come back into your life again, because you're just doing your own thing. So they have to go through this process themselves. You can't force someone to lose weight. You can't force someone to make a bunch of money. They have to figure out that they want to do that on their own, and then they'll do it. The second thing that avoidantly attached people love and need when they decide they want to come back to you is when you stroke their ego, okay? So many avoidantly attached people have a very low self-esteem, and they rely on external validation to make themselves feel better and kind of give themselves an ego boost. That's why when they met you, they probably really loved being around you, because naturally, if you're a people pleaser, you might have just boosted their ego all the time. And so if you're always making them feel good, then they'll want to be around you because you make them feel good, right? But over time, if you keep giving so many compliments, the compliments and the ego boost, it doesn't really have the same impact as it once did in the beginning. So maybe that's why they broke up with you, but I'm sure there's a million reasons why, and your story is very unique. You have to be careful with this one because it kind of counteracts number one, giving space, all right? So when you know you've given them enough space, like it's been 6 months, 8 months, a year, depending on your situation, everyone's different, all right? But when you start to reach out again, you start to communicate, maybe they reach out to you, maybe you reach out to them, but whenever you talk to them, you always make them feel good and you boost their ego. This is going to make them feel like they are getting validation from you, okay? You are increasing their self-worth, making themselves feel good about themselves, which is a good thing. I'm not saying to do this in a manipulative way. I'm just saying when they feel good around you, when they remember like, oh yeah, like whenever I'm with you, you always make me feel better, that's going to make them want to talk to you, want to reach out to you, want to return to you. If you boost your ex's ego, okay, this will allow the avoidantly attached individual, your ex, to feel close to you without risking any sort of vulnerability, okay? So if you just drop some compliments or just say like, you've always been so good at XYZ, or it's so impressive that you've like built all this with your life, or you've made all this money, or you've sold this business at only age 28 or whatever, okay, make it authentic. But when you say that, you are just making them feel good. They don't have to be vulnerable. They don't have to give you a compliment. They can just accept it and feel good about it, okay? So it's all about giving and not expecting anything in return. Avoidantly attached people are more likely to return to an ex that makes them feel confident, that makes them feel accepted and not judged, okay? So that's the second thing, or that's the second reason why an avoidant would return back to you. If you had a really nasty breakup and you said some really nasty things to your ex right before you guys broke up, then they're probably not going to think very fondly of you whenever memories pop up, okay? So when they think about, should I go back to you? They're just gonna remember, oh yeah, you made me feel like shit, so I probably don't wanna go out of my way to risk reaching out to you, asking you out, and then being shut down. The third reason why an avoidantly attached person would come back to you is because they will feel it inside of their heart that you do not know how to implement boundaries in the relationship. In other words, if you do not know how to put boundaries in place within your relationship and you didn't do that in the past, they know that about you, okay? So they know, okay, if I run away, if I distance, if I travel and I come back and you still love me, you still accept me, I can probably do that again, okay? So in other words, when you permit, you promote, okay? When you let your avoidant ex back into your life, when you start talking again after they've left you, after they just completely disappeared, and then you're just like, oh, hello, welcome back. Like, I'm here, I'm always available, okay? And you're promoting their distance. You're promoting their breaking up and coming back into your life whenever they please, okay? That is going to make them feel safe enough to continue the cycle that they are used to. Avoidance will test you, okay? Like, essentially, when the relationship gets too vulnerable, too emotional, they will get uncomfortable and they'll see like, okay, can I distance? Can I step out so that I can feel comfortable again? So that I can feel like I have my taste of freedom again while still being in a relationship with you, or like a situationship or exclusive or whatever you call it, okay? And if you're like, that's fine because you don't have boundaries, they are going to enjoy that. It's not like they're trying to use you. It's just they want to find a relationship where it can be flexible enough that you're okay with not actually being in a relationship, like an actual committed relationship. Because if they're gone and coming back and they leave and they come back all the time, then what do you think? What type of relationship is that? That's not a healthy relationship at all. It's not consistent whatsoever. And so basically, if you always take them back, then they'll always keep using that door. That's just how it works. Now, the ironic thing is a lot of the anxiously attached people that I work with one-on-one avoid setting boundaries out of the fear of losing their avoidant partner. Like, they don't want to put a boundary in place and say, you can't leave and come back whenever you want. Like, you can't just break up with me and come back into my life like multiple times in the year. That it doesn't work that way. All the anxious people I work with are afraid to say that because they don't want to hurt the feelings of their avoidant partner. So they're just like, listen, I'm just going to say nothing and you keep doing whatever you want. And when you come back, I'll be here because I need you to feel okay. And the avoidant needs themselves to feel okay. They need to know that they haven't lost their identity in the relationship to feel okay. So they have to leave. Like, that's the thing. It's a cycle. They have to leave to feel okay. And the anxious needs the avoidant to feel okay. So when the avoidant comes back, the anxious is like, I'm okay with this. Like, they're back. It's okay if they do this, you know? And so basically, if the avoidantly attached person knows that you're not going to set boundaries and you're okay with letting them go and taking them back in, then there's a really good chance they will come back. I'll give you a couple of reasons why an avoidantly attached person would not come back to you. And if this applies to you, it could be a good thing. All right. So the first reason why an avoidant would not return to you after a breakup is if the breakup was ugly. I already kind of pointed to this in the podcast, but basically avoidantly attached people don't handle emotional messiness well. So if you said some pretty nasty, rude things to your avoidant, they're not going to forget that. Okay. They're also not going to forget the intense emotions that started to arise during that argument. Okay. So if you're name calling, if you're yelling, if you're pointing to them, if you're making them feel ashamed or making them feel uncomfortable, making them feel guilty, making them feel like a 5-year-old when their parents were yelling at them and the avoidant just wanted it all to stop, okay? They are not going to enjoy ever talking to you again because the fear of that conflict arising again is too high. So there's a good chance they would not return to you, okay? Now, I know like sometimes what avoidantly attached people do before they end a relationship is start to gaslight you and kind of twist your own words. So they'll almost make you feel like you are the reason why the relationship didn't work. You are the one that has trouble with handling too many emotions. It's your problem. And so because of you having this problem, we're not together. So, I mean, that's what gaslighting is, like making you believe it's your fault when it's really the avoidance fault in that case. Okay, so basically they'll lean to this technique, gaslighting, in order to avoid accountability. All right. So that would just be another reason why they would not return to you. Another reason why, second reason, is because there was a low emotional investment in the relationship. So in other words, they just really didn't like you that much. They were just with you and emotions were maybe like slowly developing, but they just didn't think the relationship was going to go anywhere. So it's just easier to detach and then just move on. All right. Sometimes if the relationship was just very surface level for the avoidant, there really isn't a lot of emotions to disengage from. So just pulling back and exiting the relationship is easier. So coming back to you wouldn't really make sense because there were no deep emotional roots within the relationship in the first place. And then the third reason why an avoidant would not return to you is if they rewrote the narrative in their head. So avoidant people do this as well. I know anxious people have like this whole thing of like limerence and a fantasy, and they're like, oh my God, my avoidant is the best person ever. Well, avoidants do it as well, but they do it in a different way. It's kind of dark. Avoidantly attached people will try to justify the reason why they left the relationship, okay? And even if it's not even true, they'll start to tell themselves, I lost my independence. Right when I started dating this person, I stopped doing all the things I love. And because of that, I can't be in this relationship. Like, they're the reason why I'm not me anymore. Or they could say to themselves like, oh yeah, that relationship, it was never going to work. Like, we were just not compatible with each other. Or they could tell themselves like, oh yeah, you were way too emotional for me. Like, I need to find someone that's less emotional, and then it might have worked out. Okay. So again, these are all the statements that they'll say in their head. And if they say them enough times, they start to believe it, like it wasn't a good relationship. There were so many reasons why it didn't work out. Okay. And they'll do this again to protect their ego, to protect their identity, and to help themselves to move on and let go and just forget about it completely without looking inward, without realizing what is going on inside, aka the avoidant attachment, aka these huge walls that they have built all around them so that no one can hurt them. Okay, so it's kind of like I read this in a book. It's like you're a porcupine, okay? And what would you rather do? Walk around the world, and whenever your little spikes hit something, you feel this deep pain. Would you rather live that way, or would you rather just pull those spikes out one time and then you never like have to bump into anything again? It's just a one-time painful experience, and then after that, you're fine. So basically, if avoidantly attached people and anxious people turn inward and realize like, okay, I've got these issues, I got these spikes, I have to learn how to let go, I have to learn how to turn inward, I have to learn like why I built these walls so high, then they will have a different outlook on life and their relationships. So that's the third reason why an avoidantly attached person would not return to you, okay? If their narrative is so strong on why they should not come back to you or why the relationship never did work, that's why they would not come back. Last, I want to talk about how to know if you have been played by an avoidant, like they did return to you, but you know it's not going to last long, okay? If they start to breadcrumb you a lot, like they're texting you, but it's like once a week or once a month, if they are kind of like flirting or touching you when you see each other in person, but then they're never like committing to anything, like they never actually want to go on a date with you again, it's just very like there's just breadcrumbs all over the place, okay? What could be happening is your avoidant ex misses the connection. They feel quite lonely, and so when they return back to you, it feels comfortable, it feels familiar, it feels safe in a way. But the idea that you want something deeper because they already know you, they already know what your goals are, that is what can make them uncomfortable. So basically, if they're giving you a lot of mixed signals, right? If they're breadcrumbing you, but then they're never committing to a full-blown relationship, that could mean they're just uncomfortable with the relationship itself, or they're like dipping their feet in to see if they feel anything again. And if they don't, they're going to pull back, and then you're going to be heartbroken all over again. All right. Another sign to look out for is if you are the gift giving type, like that's your love language, and you are giving your ex, like maybe your new partner again, you're giving them a lot of gifts, you're giving them a lot of money, you're giving a lot of your energy, your time, right? And they are like gladly accepting, but they're never accepting a committed relationship. Okay. That is a scenario that I hear way too often with you guys when I work with you guys one-on-one, and you guys are so kind and generous with these people that you're so in love with. But the thing is, if they're just taking your money and gifts and all of your time, then what are they giving back to you? You know, like, is it equal? Do you feel like you're receiving as much as you're giving? All right, because that's what a relationship is. It should feel somewhat equal. All right, avoidantly attached people will return to you when you give them space and when you make them feel good without any pressure, and they'll return back to you if you let them leave and return without any consequences. Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should just keep the door open for your avoidant ex. I definitely recommend going out, living your life, finding hobbies, making new friends, doing the things that truly make you happy, because that is what will actually attract the right partner into your life. If that is your avoidant ex, wonderful. If it's not, it's going to be an amazing new relationship, okay? So thank you guys for watching. If you are wondering if your avoidant ex will return back to you and you want to share your specific story with me and get my advice, I do one-on-one coaching. So I'll leave a link for that down below. It's video call coaching and email coaching. So I'll leave links for those down below. I wrote a book, How to Get Over Your Avoidant Ex and Become Securely Attached. I'll leave a link for that one down below as well. And that's it for this video, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.